the darkness, something was happening at last. A voice had begun to sing. It was very far away, and Diggory found it hard to decide from which direction it was coming. Sometimes it seemed to come from all directions at once. Sometimes he almost thought it was coming out of the earth beneath him. Its lower notes were deep enough to be the voice of the earth herself. There were no words. There was hardly even a tune. But it was beyond comparison the most beautiful noise he had ever heard. It was so beautiful he could hardly bear it. The horse seemed to like it too. He gave the sort of whinny a horse could give if, after years of being a cab horse, it found itself back in the old field where it had played as a fowl, and saw someone whom it remembered and loved coming across the field to bring it a lump of sugar. "Gaw," said the cabby, "ain't it lovely?" Then two wonders happened at the same moment. One was that the voice was suddenly joined by other voices, more voices than you could possibly count. They were in harmony with it, but far higher up the scale. Cold, tingling, silvery voices. The second wonder was that the blackness overhead all at once was blazing with stars. They didn't come out gently, one by one, as they do on a summer evening. One moment there had been nothing but darkness. Next moment, 1,000,000 points of light leaped out. Single stars, constellations, and planets, brighter and bigger than any in our world. There were no clouds. The new stars and the new voices began at exactly the same time. If you had seen and heard it as Diggory did, you would have felt quite certain that it was the stars themselves which were singing, and that it was the first voice, the deep one, which had made them appear and made them sing. Hey family, what's going on? Welcome to another video. I'm Michael.
I'm Emily.
And today we are doing the Chronicles of Narnia.
The first book.
No, actually we're doing all the books. All the books. The only book we have currently, here, pass that one to me, is The Magician's Nephew, which is technically the first book, but it's actually not the first book. So, if you've never read the Chronicles of Narnia, and I'm sad to say that I didn't actually read the Chronicles of Narnia until, was that last year? Yeah, I think it was the middle of last year that we went to the library and they had
Chronicles of Narnia.
The Magician's Nephew, this is their book.
But we've watched the movie.
No, did we watch the movie first?
The second movie. Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, remember?
That's the first movie.
Oh yeah, it's the only first movie.
Yeah, it's the only, well, there's other movies, but anyways, we're not going to get off on that. Yeah, I started reading The Magician's Nephew, and this says that this is book 1, but I would recommend reading Narnia, the original, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe first, because I think that it sets up the world to where when you read The Magician's Nephew, you say, oh, okay, oh, that's where that came from, or that's where that came from. I like that a little bit more than reading The Magician's Nephew, because if you do The Magician's Nephew first, there's going to be parts in it that don't really make any sense unless you've done The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You agree with that?
Yeah.
So, if you've never read the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is about, well, really all of the books are, except for The Magician's Nephew, are about the 4
Founders. Yes, you could.
Pevenses. And there's 4 of them, 2 girls, 2 boys, 2 sons of Adam, 2 daughters of Eve. And there's a prophecy that they're supposed to come and defeat the White Witch. And so that's the premise of the first book. And the
third book, Prince Caspian.
The lore that is inside Narnia is a great overarching story. I think it's a really beautiful story. There's a lot that's in it. There's a lot of meat in it. And I wish desperately that I had read these as I was a child, because I know that there's a lot that I missed. It's like the Lord of the Rings. I didn't read the Lord of the Rings when I was a kid, and I know she doesn't really care because I think it's a little bit older. But the Chronicles of Narnia, I think today, are still a good book, still valid, and very much worth your time. Which book is your favorite book?
It's either Prince Caspian or The Last Battle.
Prince Caspian or The Last Battle. Okay, and who is your favorite character? Wait. Does he have 4 legs and a tail?
Who are you?
And a feather?
Reapy Cheep.
Reapy Cheep.
Yes.
Yeah, Reapy Cheep is her favorite character. And actually, it's a lot of people's favorite character, it turns out.
He's cute, cool, awesome, adorable.
Honorable.
That too.
Valiant. Strong. A great leader. Right?
Yeah.
He's a bunch of things. Reapy Cheep is one of the best characters. And he's a
than
very
Prince
popular.
Caspian.
Well, yeah.
And I like Prince Caspian.
Yeah, I like Prince Caspian too. Fair warning, if y'all do decide to read and have never read the Chronicles of Narnia, and then you go decide to read or watch the movies,
they're very different. Unless you are watching Prince Caspian, it's kind of close to it. But Reapy Cheep is adorable.
he is, but there's a whole section in the movie where they just added it.
They start in the middle of the book.
Well, so the way that Prince Caspian works is, in the movie, it starts with telling what happens to Caspian as a kid.
A little.
Early, whereas in the book, it tells you midway. So it's not that they start halfway through, it's just they start differently.
Yeah. And it's weird. Because when I first listened to Prince Caspian, that was the only Chronicles of Narnia book I've ever listened to the audiobook more than once. So I memorized like the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, they kind of made it two very different that I could tell all the things they messed up on. Like, that's not supposed to be there yet. It should be next after this.
Yeah.
So,
and
very confusing.
And I think with the movies, they missed the whole point in some of the books because one of the big overarching stories is that Aslan is supposed to be a representation of Jesus Christ. And if you read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, you know that Aslan is a direct correlation to, go spoiling the book, direct correlation to Jesus Christ. And at the end of this, I'm going to read an excerpt from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, just to show that parallel. And actually, one of my favorite YouTubers, which is called Into the Wardrobe, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite channels. But Into the Wardrobe, he just in his channel he goes through a bunch of the lore, and there's just so much meat inside these books.
And he goes through Reapy Cheep's timeline too, and like everyone's.
Yeah, he does different characters, so like Lucy and Susan, Peter. This one here is actually a little bit different because this one is the Magician's Nephew.
The new one.
And this is a newer edition of it. And one of the cool things I like about it, about the Chronicles of Narnia, is that because it's so old, it's been around. I mean, C.S. Lewis he wrote these in 1960s. Oh my goodness, I can't remember when he wrote them. But whenever he wrote, I'll have it on the screen. But when he wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, I forgot what I was saying.
When you wrote the Chronicles of Narnia you were saying that you were glad you liked that it was super old.
Oh yeah, so I'm thankful that they're older books because they've had a chance to mature. And what I mean by that is that there are different editions of each book where they are there's picture books where you can look and you can see Reepicheep drawn in great detail, or you can see the two guinea pigs that are drawn in great detail, and just the story and beautiful artwork and so forth. And because
black
it's
and white, not color.
well, no, they have full-on color books where you can look at them and they have pictures and they're big. Yeah.
I've never seen
Well, think about the Harry Potter book. Remember the one of
yeah, the picture one of the
yeah, they did that with the Chronicles. Oop, they did that with the Chronicles of Narnia. Sorry, Emma Cam. But yeah, that's one of the things I really appreciate. But I think in this time of year, in this day and age, a story like the Chronicles of Narnia is desperately needed because it gives a lot of hope. And that's something that a lot of books don't give nowadays is the hope that comes with what could be in the future, what might be in your final days. And that's something that we just don't have a lot of, and a lot of books don't even really center around that. They center around pain and suffering, and without that hope that drives it home, you miss out on a lot of it. So, favorite book is Last Battle or Caspian.
yeah. I can't
Favorite character is Reepicheep. Who's your least favorite character?
It's either
Jadis?
Jadis or whatever his name is. The boy, the cousin.
Oh, Eustace.
Yes, Eustace. I don't like him.
You don't like even
He's annoying.
even when he turns around.
No, he's annoying.
He's still annoying. Eustace, yeah, he's pretty annoying. That's what the Dawn Treader, right?
He
Yeah.
comes back in the last battle too.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things I really like too is that a lot of the characters return and they go away, they return, they go away, they return. Where would you say to start? Would you say here?
No,
Or would
because
you say
it's not. It
Narnia?
may be exciting. I'd say the second book in the series because
Which one are you calling the second book?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because that one would like explain some stuff, and then like with the wardrobe, it tells you how it was made and stuff in that book. So like you know all this information you need to know, and then when you read that one, you figure out what all this stuff about it.
You're just repeating what I said. Yeah. Okay.
I'd also say Prince Caspian too.
Prince Caspian. Do you need to read them all in order, do you think, to understand them?
Well, like, you would read them in either order, but some of them won't make very much sense with each other. But if you don't read them in order, like I didn't, because I started with, like, Prince Caspian Last Battle. And, yeah, because you gave me Last Battle second. It was Prince Caspian, Last Battle. I'm not even sure the second book.
The horses and his boy. The horse's boy.
Yeah. And then I would listen to the Dawn Treader. That one. Well, I listened to that one before the Dawn Treader. And then the Dawn Treader. And then whichever one was next after that. And I haven't listened to the Silver Chair yet because I can't find it.
Okay. So, in conclusion, I would say that if you're looking for some hope, if you're looking for...
Guidance?
No, I wouldn't say guidance. I would say hope more than anything. But if you're looking for hope and you're looking for a story that is not just enthralling, but full of rich lore and information that will keep you searching online for hours and hours on end, I think The Chronicles of Narnia is really a fantastic series. And The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a great place to start. And The Magician's Nephew is a really good book too. I kind of like The Magician's Nephew more than The Chronicles of Narnia. I mean, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, me too.
You too. So, yeah, I would say start with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then The Magician's Nephew. But The Magician's Nephew is one of my favorites. I don't know. Do you have a favorite book? Let us know down in the Chronicles of Narnia book. Let us know down in the comments. If there's a book that you would like us to review or to check out, let us know that also in the comments. But that's going to do it for this video. We hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Then at last, they stood for a moment, looking out toward the sea at Carapervel, which they could now just make out. The red turned to gold along the line where the sea and the sky met, and very slowly up came the edge of the sun. At that moment, they heard from behind them a loud noise, a great cracking, deafening noise, as if a giant had broken a giant's plate. "What is that?" said Lucy, clutching Susan's arm. "I feel afraid to turn around," said Susan. "Something awful is happening." "They're doing something worse to him," said Lucy. "Come on." She turned, pulling Susan around with her. The rising of the sun had made everything look so different. All the colors and shadows were changed, that for a moment they didn't see the important thing. Then they did. The stone table was broken into 2 pieces by a great crack that ran down it from end to end. And there was no Aslan. "Oh, oh, oh," they cried, the 2 girls rushing back to the table. "Oh, it's too bad," sobbed Lucy. "They might have left the body alone." "Who's done it?" cried Susan. "What does it mean? Is it more magic?" "Yes," said a great voice behind their backs. "It is more magic." They looked around. There, shining in the sunrise, larger than they had seen him before, shaking his mane, for it had apparently grown back again, stood Aslan himself. "Oh, Aslan!" cried both the children, staring up at him, almost as much frightened as they were glad. "Aren't you dead then, dear Aslan?" said Lucy. "Not now," said Aslan.